Hello guys, this is me, mjkk613.14. Now this is unofficial through my eyes, how I see what our job is in Pi. The first 3 days that we're here, we invite people. After 3 days, after three 24-hour sessions, the contributor role unlocks. We build a security circle of 3 to 5 people that we know, and it should be people we personally know and trust. And trust should be, you trust your car to them, you let them house sit for you, or you trust picking your kids up from school and watching them until you get off of work or whatever it is. That's the beginning of our job. And we're going to do that every day. Checking in every day shows that we are active in the network. And the security circles are providing the first line of security to our network. Now, KYC is added to clean up all the bots, the clones, the people that are doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing, and hold pioneers accountable. One person, one account, one mobile device, and one node. I think that's the base of why we're KYCing. Now, to trade crypto for any other currency, the exchanges, to get their license, by regulations, to get their license, they have to KYC. It's part of their stipulation to be able to be an exchange. Now, being KYC'd in Pi may allow us to trade or buy or sell Pi inside of the community. That's the question that needs answering. Okay? Because by all rights, from what I understand, to trade any crypto and turn it into any Fate or any other crypto, it has to go through the exchange. Because anytime you change it for money, some government wants to know what it is so they can figure out taxes on it. I mean, that's part of the regulations for the exchanges. Now, after the 3 days, that's what we will be doing from now and forever. Okay, that's why mining can't stop, because base mining rate is a pioneer and a contributor with a 5-person security circle is base mining rate. By inviting people right now, we get an increase of, I think it's 0.4048 to our earning rate. Well, when Pi goes live, we won't get it by the hour. Like we're watching it scroll up now. That won't happen. Once a day, we will get newly minted Pi for mining. Plus, each referral we get, we create a pool of Pi. And over our lifetimes, both of us will draw from that pool of Pi, and we will get that amount once a day. So if you have 10 invites, you have 10 pools of Pi that you're going to be drawing from. If you have 100 invites, you're going to have 100 pools of Pi you're going to be drawing from. But it's only the 2. So for each one, it's just you create it with me and someone else. That's it. That's as far as it goes. That's why the referral reward is there. It's an incentive. Now it's an incentive because it increases rate, but that's where we earn like a passive income of Pi every day. Okay? So that's where we're at, and that's going to be our primary job right now. I mean, once we go live, that'll be our primary job. Now, being invited early to Pi, we were supposed to be part of that development, in my opinion. And where we dropped the ball as a community was at the start of the in-app transfer. Building the community, building the marketplace, getting people to move Pi around was our job, is our job. I mean, that was our job, and that was the biggest ball we dropped. When people tried to sell in the in-app transfer, close the in-app transfer to everybody. Because I believe the way in-app transfer should have went, it started with the 300. Then, as they were set up to get the economy started. They were set up to get the economy started and started moving. Okay. Each pilot in that transfer pilot got the pie that they had earned by themselves to use to trade for goods and services. That's what it was meant for, to trade for goods and services. So people tried to sell, which closed the door. And what's going on with the ENF transfer pilot now is the majority of people that have the ENF transfer capability are in another marketplace. They're in the Pi network marketplace, and they're not doing a whole lot. There's not a whole lot of transactions going on. They're growing the marketplace. They have a big reach, but there's not a lot of action going on in it. Pi Lifestyles, yeah, Crypto Legend and Phoenix and all of the founders. Crypto Legend is the driving force behind the Lifestyles. Okay, there was a group of us, a different group, in the first unofficial Discord that branched off of Pi. And at that time, when the in-app transfer was getting ready to get started, the whole community was in agreement that Pi was worth 10 cents. And the community was about 50-50 split. Half were selling and half were buying. And Crypto Legend was connecting buyers and sellers. Like he was finding how much you were going to buy and how much you were going to sell, and he was connecting people to that amount. So if you were buying at 10 cents, if you were buying $100 worth, and this guy was selling what he had equivalent of $100, he was connecting people. So it'd be a real easy deal. We get in that transfer. Okay. And they were talking about setting up an escrow account and all. I mean, we had it figured out. And when the pilot started, it only went to 300 people. So the rest of the community we never got in that transfer capability. And so it blew everything we were thinking out of the water. It just blew it out of the water. Well, at that time, there's Crypto Legend and there's a few other, and I was kind of involved in that. Because we all sat down and went, what? Wait a minute. No. And that's when a lot of people that are in the Lifestyles woke up to what Pi was. And other people as well. That's what woke a lot of people up. Because it didn't happen the way that, and we were talking the same way the traders are talking now. It didn't happen that way. But our job as part of the development team, okay, our job was to get Pi economy started. And as it should have scaled up, as the community grew, the in-app transfer pilot should have scaled with it. They were to get the economy started. And as more people came through in KYC, if it would have gone as planned, KYC, you get what you've earned by yourself, and you get the in-app transfer capability to help strengthen what's already going on. Well, when we got together and sat down and said, no, something, we looked like, what the hell happened? What man, we had it, and these are some smart people, man. What happened? Well, Pi's not going that direction. Pi's not going that direction. Pi's going to buy goods and services. Well, now think about it. If we were a year into gradually scaling the marketplace as the community grew, we would have, right now we're still at 300 and we're 13 million. It should have scaled together, it would have been 8, 10, 12 million in the economy. Strengthening the economy, changing Pi for goods and services. We wouldn't have to be, like the Lifestyles is backing to make the transactions. Because without the transactions, the value that they have on it is no good. You have to back it up. And that's what they're doing. And the ones in the marketplace that have the availability transfer, legit availability transfer, they're they're not doing what, but there's also some hidden motives and hidden agendas, and there's some. It's on the up and up. Everything is transparent. It's on the up and up, but there's other underlying factors in that marketplace. The lifestyles. No, these guys aren't. There's no hidden agendas. There's no. It's about pie succeeding. And when we sat down, we had pie calculated about $10 a pie. When Lifestyles opened up, it didn't take them long to realize that $10 was too low. Because the last pioneer coming in for that day has to be able to use their pie. And as pie grows, the ones that actually have pie and have a big stack of pie, they're getting to the minimal. Because if we're scaling this way, so more people here have less pie, but they hold the majority of the pie. They have to be able to use and spend their pie. And you listen to the people coming in now, they're only, after a day, they're like 1, 2, 3, 4 pie. Nothing. They have nothing to use. I mean, if I was watching a video, if pie gets listed and people believe that pie's worth less than $1, pie won't survive. Because the majority of pioneers coming in won't be able to use what they have to buy what they need and recoup what they're using. I mean, if something comes, if you have to give 100 pie for something, how long is it going to take to get 100 pie? They can't use it. And if they can't use it, if the majority of people can't use their pie, makes pie worthless. Across the board, okay? Makes pie worthless. They have to be able to use it. That's why it's $100. And that is our job. That was our job. And see, when the people tried to sell, close the door. And we kicked it shut. People coming in wanting to know what pie value is, where to withdraw, how to withdraw, when can we do it? And that's gone on for a long time. They're the ones that they locked it. Core can't trust to open that door and let people in. And they haven't let anybody in. Even if we're trusted, we can't get in. We can't. Man, I can help back people, and I can't get in. I can't get into the internet transfer. They can't trust letting anybody in. They can't open that door because it would shut the project down. Okay, that's our job. We are community. We're responsible for building community. Now, what's happened, and it's happened for a while, Vince was head of community. And he put out regular information on and direction on how things should go, or giving the community some kind of direction, pulling us together. Well, he's out of the project now, but he was gone for like 9 months, and the community had no head of community. So everybody started splintering off in their own direction. We're not coming together. We're not. More people are more concerned about what's going to happen on the exchange. And pie is not about what's going to happen on the exchange. It will get there. But it's more about us trading between each other, moving pie. The more pie moves, the stronger the economy will be. Pie needs to change hands as much as it can every day. And if you look at 13 million people, we have to do like 5 or 6 transactions a piece to stress blockchain. Pi blockchain should process about 75 million transactions a day. So, okay, if we all have to do, say, a minimum of 5 transactions a day to prove Pi blockchain, people coming in that only have a few Pi can't make 1 transaction. Makes Pi as a currency useless. Across the board, useless. Because the minority, yeah, they have Pi. They may have big stacks of Pi. But they're also businessmen, and they know. Why would they put out thousands of Pi when they know what the value should be? When they know the value, I should only have to be worried about putting out a couple of pie to buy what I want and need. And people are way out there, looking at mainstream already. And no, we're not. Pie is just getting started. We start in-house, and it would have organically scaled. More people coming in, the more goods and services are offered, the more people are seeing it, the more the mindset is changing. In-house first, mainstream second. That's our job. That was our job. Our job is to build community. Nicholas and CFAN. Nicholas is the head of the project, but he's head of tech. He's head of writing the blockchain, putting the protocol together. CFAN is head of product. So when Pi gets to a point where we have, right now we don't have a saleable product. When we get to a product, CFAN is in charge of getting that product out. Vince was head of community. We are community. So Nicholas is head of the project, head of tech. So he's behind the curtain guy. CFAN is, once it's there, then I would say she's probably in charge of like advertising and marketing and whatever to get, once there's a saleable product, to sell it. Well, guess what? That left community to us. When the three of them were together, CFAN and Nicholas were always behind the curtain. They were behind the curtain. They showed themselves, and they came out and they answered questions and stuff like that. But they were behind the curtain. Vince was on this side of the curtain. At the beginning, they weren't even worried about community. Behind the curtain, because community was on us. Our job. They left community to our job, because Pi is written for us. That's our job. Our job is building community. Building community for Pi. And trust is the biggest thing. The trust are security circles. We are entrusted. We vouch for the people that we put in our security circle. 5 max is max reward. So if we've picked people, we've put people in that we know and trust. Well, now you and I are getting to know each other, and you have 5 people in your security circle that you trust. Well, if you and I trust each other, there's no reason I shouldn't. Theoretically, there's no reason I shouldn't trust the 5 people in your security circle. Now, 10 we're all trusting each other, and we don't even know each other, but we're trusting because we're part of trusting you and I. So there should be no question about me trusting yours, or you trusting mine. And somewhere along the line, we will all connect. All of us. Somebody somewhere will know somebody and the cross-linking between circles, somewhere, Pi is built on trust. Built on one person, one account, one device, one node. KYC, I'm thinking when people are coming into the net, new people are coming into the network once it's live, we'll have to do the same thing we did to get an account. They'll just have to do it up front. They'll have to verify, prove themselves, KYC, all that, before they get an account and get into the community. Yes. That's how I see it. Because how can you maintain trust if you don't keep trust coming in? You can't let somebody in and then say, no, they're not trusting, kick them back out. No, you don't have to be trusted coming in, because the network is built on trust. Now, Core has taken Stellar consensus, node portion of it. That's all we're using from Stellar, is the node consensus. Now, supernodes, I believe most of the supernodes are probably picked already. They're the ones testing the wallets. Supernodes handle the work. They are the workhorse. They do all of the validating. They do all of the ordering. They build the block. Supernodes are the workhorse of Pi Network. Now, they do the work. All the other nodes are part of approving, or the consensus part of that block, making that block into the chain, putting that block into the chain. And It's how the quorum slices are picked on how these nodes, without the consensus part, the supernodes just can't put blocks in. There's not enough supernodes to do the consensus part to put the blocks of transactions in the chain. So that you need the supernodes, and then you need the nodes to do the consensus part to make sure everything is on the up and up. And yes, each node gets a copy of the ledger, and each node can. I'm thinking technically each node could do their own thing, but inside the protocol, if nodes would start acting badly or disconnected, or they're coming on and off or being turned on and off, the other nodes will cut them out of the consensus. They won't let them vote. Okay, if nodes are acting badly, the protocol itself won't let that node vote in the consensus, and there are always nodes wanting to come in. From what I gather from sales, there's always nodes coming in, and if nodes are acting badly, they're pulling out. So you're always moving. Nodes are coming in and out. The regular nodes. So by turning your nodes off now, Core is tracking how much time nodes are running. You want your node running 99% of the time, 90% of the time. To be, they're listing. The nodes are on a trust. They're basically being listed as trust, as reliable, stable, running all the time. So if a node is running 90% of the time, they're going to be picked over somebody who's only running 50% of the time or 70% of the time. It goes on page order. And then I'm not totally familiar with, but when it comes to the trust of the nodes, the higher you're ranked, the higher you're trusted, the more you're closer in the circle or whatever. But when we hook up with our phones, we will have, the trust graph helps us figure out, if we're not running a node, which nodes to connect to. If the node is acting badly or not being trusted or whatever, nobody's going to connect to it. We're going to connect to the node that is trusted, that is, okay? Regular nodes hooked to the super nodes. Phones hooked to the nodes. That's how we transact, and that's how we interact with the network. Okay? Yes, we have jobs to do. That's what I'm saying. We're just early in development. And people are waiting for the exchange listings, waiting for Core to give us direction, okay? Core didn't give, when the in-app transfer started, it was supposed to start as a barter system. Well, I don't know, because it was all closed doors and hush-hush when all that came about. I don't know how much direction Core gave to the pilots about barter, or what their idea of barter was. And I know there are a few different ways of bartering, but Pi was new, and Pi is a new currency, new everything's, and you can't barter with the currency. The currency needs to be a set value to be able to do anything with it. The way I know true barter is goods for goods. Well, Pi isn't a good. Pi is the money. Well, it don't work. It don't work. And Pi Network Marketplace started off with auctions. And auctions don't work to set a value. And granted, they give you a feel of what the community is thinking or what they're, okay? But when people, like you mentioned, it's a game. No, Pi is not a game. But that's what people see as a game. Because it's not an exchange. And a lot of people are, well, that's where it's going to get its value because it's got to be the amount of volume traded and the amount of thing. The amount of volume traded has to start within the community. If you have 13 million people doing 5 transactions a day, and Pi is processing 75 million transactions a day, that's volume. That's big volume. That's big volume. But the only way it can create that volume, is to be at a price that everybody can use it. All the lifestyles did is they cut to the chase and didn't go the long way around the barn. Didn't go a long way around the barn. The founders of Pie Lifestyles, the people that are involved in Pie Lifestyles, they're doing the job that we're supposed to be doing. They're working. We're working to earn what we're getting. And see, people, there's so much free mining and free this, free that. But if you read in the FAQ, first sentence, pie is not free money. Right? Pie is not free money. But people are under the impression, and I don't know the advertising and whatever outside somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe it did come from core but if you read the FAQ and the white, pie is not free money. If you're looking for pie is a long-term project, if you're looking for quick cash, pie may not be for you. It's stated right in the opening sentence of the FAQ. Pie is not free money, and if you're looking for fast money, this isn't the project for you. That was written by Core. But I guess it gets overlooked because, well, if they're saying, when you're reading the FAQ, if they're saying pie is not free money, that means we have a job to do. It doesn't mean the job has to be hard. Nobody says it has to be hard. It's just we have to do it. Once the door got closed on the in-app transfer, it blew it out of the water for the majority. The people that woke up and see pie are doing their job. They're doing their job. I mean, I look at what I do as me earning, because I'm doing what I can to help support pie with what I'm doing. I'm in chat, I'm mod, I'm helping answer questions, try to keep things as straight as I'm earning my pie. And my pie, for what I put up with new pioneers and even old pioneers that I go toe-to-toe with all the time, I'm earning my pie. My pie is valuable, not even outside of what everybody else is thinking. I'm earning my pie. Yeah. Man, there's days that I was ready to strangle something. Yeah, because people, anyway, I'm earning. If anything you're doing in pie to help pie move forward and succeed, you're earning your pie. And if people would take their view from getting free crypto, free pie, because if it's free, and this is where I see the biggest part of it, if it's free, they don't personally value it. Why? It's free. I don't. If somebody gives it to me, I don't give a shit. It's free. Care. But if you, it's about perspective. If you perceive that you're earning your pie, you automatically give value to your pie. And it's not at pennies. Go to any job, anywhere, and I don't want to say around the world, anywhere in a developed country, you're not going to go to work. If somebody, computer programming, whatever job it is, garbage person, cleaning up whatever, working nurses, doctors, lawyers, laborers, construction workers, heavy equipment operators, they're not going to work for pennies. They're not. No, they wouldn't accept your job for pennies. Okay? Because they're doing a job to earn their pie. We are too. It just, who says the job has to be hard? Work smarter, not harder. Core has built pie for us, man. So I hope that kind of set some of the stuff. We're doing a job. We are, if we're involved positively, supportive, helping however we can, that is our job. Eventually, with pie governance, the community will be governing in itself. There's no other crypto. That's usually one of the areas that most cryptos are lacking, and that's why the government is afraid of cryptos. because there isn't many that, or any, that are truly self-governing. Now, if you look at Pi will be totally, 100% decentralized. The coin, the nodes, the community, the ledger, and I bet you the overall Pi servers are also decentralized. They're probably stretched all over the world. And what scares government is Pi governance. Because you take a crypto that is stable, usable, becomes trustable, and is governing themselves, that's what scares governments. Because that breaks us away from central bank, and it breaks us away from big government. Yeah, that's what working to get there. Even if it's just coming in and checking in every day, and going about shut down the app, just watching an ad is working in Pi. As much as people hate it, well, if I come in and I start a session and I watch an ad, I'm working. But if people viewed watching an ad as working, it would change their perception. And then close the app and go about your day making money doing what you're doing. Core is okay with that. For us we have the choice to get involved as little or as much as we want. Core's not. Once we've done the first 3 days and done what we're supposed to, that's all Core is really asking. Knowing, and I think with their intelligence and what they're thinking is, okay, you get here the first 3 days. I mean, the first 3 days is what it is, but after you've been here 3 days and you've done, because in 3 days you should be able to read the white papers, the FAQ, and everything else going on, kind of spend time in chat and whatever it is, and get an idea of what Pi is, what it's about, what is going on. Now, if we would have done our job as we were organically growing, when they come in, they'd already see the marketplace. They'd see pioneers doing it. It would make it a whole lot easier for them to pick up what's going on. But because that hasn't happened, I think we're behind a year. Now, because if we would have done what we were supposed to when we were supposed to do it, we would be a year into the marketplaces. We would be a year into transactions. We would be a year, okay? Yeah, where would we be if? If we were right here, right now, where we're at, we're back where the in-app transfer started. Where would we be in a year? That's where we should be. Okay? Because Core's focus now has switched from marketplace to dApps as the supporting role or the main foundation of Pi. When I first got it wasn't dApps. dApps were after the marketplace. Marketplace was primary focus. Now it's dApps, then the marketplace. But see, the core right now, Nicholas is basically Nicholas and Seagan are the core. There are other core members that they have brought in, but there are a couple of them that are coming up that are more in the spotlight as far as the mods are concerned and going on in that app. In that, yes, the mods have their own place, and there are a couple that are rising up and more visual as far as core goes. The rest of what core has added to it is all behind the curtain. They're all behind the curtain doing coding or whatever they're doing. Debugging stuff. They're working hard. So, but with the community not having a head or a lead, that's where we are. That's where we're at. That's where we're at now. And the ones that finally realize, hey, it's on us. You're with them right there. Pi Lifestyles. There's an economy started up on Facebook that's real quiet. You don't hear. We've never heard a lot about on Facebook, but they have an economy started at $10. Pi Network market recently raised their value to $10 for transactions, but there's still not a lot of movement. Now there is one out of China that I think last I heard. Now I've heard some. Yeah, China. Don't worry about China. Just leave China alone. Okay. Yeah, because China, there's legit and there's not legit. And I don't know where the line is between them. There is a Pi Mall. I think it's Pi Mall that has started, and they have a value of. I think they started at like $3.14 or something like that. But just recently, I heard that China was looking to take Pi per Pi to 300. Now I don't know whether it's $300 or 300 yen, Chinese yen. That I don't know. It could be 300 Chinese yen, and I haven't done the conversion on that. So these economies are going. There's Pi Lifestyles has brought at least 6, I think it's 6 brick and mortar locations around the world. In their that started out, Lifestyles got some brick and mortar places going. So there are places that you can go around the world and buy dinner, lunch. I think there's like 4 restaurants, a couple in Canada, a couple in the PI, Philippines. There's a actual like grocery store type deal in the Philippines where they can go get rice and beans and whatever, fresh vegetables and whatever, using Pi. That, they're doing the job, man. The marketplace, Pi Network Marketplace, is reaching out, and they've expanded. They have the reach, but they don't have the transactions to back up the reach. And part of it, I think, is because they're going by the assessment that you can only, if you have the transfer availability, you can transfer. That's it. If you don't have transfer availability, you can't transfer. Where the founders here, Crypto Legend, came up with the economy and how it works and how it moves and how the backing and all that. And yes, I was a little leery about all the economies when they first started, because some of them, if they don't have cores backing or cores, you start treading in some real good water. And there are other economies. There's a couple of futures markets that have started that, unless you're in that clique, you won't hear about them or know about them. But I think they're doing some pretty shady stuff. I've heard from like the Telegram group and whatever, that they are selling, somehow they are trading Pi for cash. If Pi and cash are in the same sentence, you may be gone by the time when we get to phase 3. You may not make it on the other side. If you have got Pi and cash in the same sentence, because we can't, we're not supposed to, we're not allowed. We're actually corporate out. If it happens, you're gone. So, no. Anyway, I hope that's kind of what our job is, what it is. We are working for our Pi. We just need to change people's perception to get them to believe they were working for the Pi. Nobody said the job had to be hard. All right, man. I'm going to post this one.